I've got just a 6-stage sequence. Okay, so hold on. First, what you should do is you should try and figure out all the values that are at stake. You do this when you act as an individual. You should do this when you're thinking about voting. You should do this when you're thinking about implementing a policy. You think, okay, what values are at stake in this decision? And you try and identify all of them. Equality of opportunity might be one of them. Equality of outcome might be another. Benefiting the least advantaged might be another. You'll see that I think it is. The family might be another. The next thing you have to do, that's what philosophers are good at. The next thing you have to do is you have to think about what weight they have relative to each other. Which is more important? How much more important is it than any other? Then, and this is why philosophers need social scientists, and I'm afraid social scientists need philosophers, you need to work out how well realized those values are in the world. Now, you can only work out how well realized they are in the world by looking at the empirical evidence. But you can only do it by looking at the empirical evidence if the empirical evidence is actually about how well they are realized in the world. Social scientists can't just go off and, well, they can, of course they can. Social scientists can go off and study whatever they want, but it would be much more useful for us if they went out and studied what mattered, found out the facts about what values are actually realized. So, what do you do then? Then you look at the proposed reform packages. You look at what people are proposing to do, and then you have to make judgments about how well what they're proposing to do will realize the values that you have to care about relative to how well they're already realized in the world and relative to each other. You've got two reform packages and the status quo. You want to know of each reform package which values it realizes better than the other, which values it realizes better than the status quo, and which values it realizes worse, and then you do the weighting. That's 4 stages. The 5th, work out how probable it is that the reform packages that you're being offered will actually succeed. This is a non-trivial task. People propose lovely reforms. My favourite example, or my unfavourite example, is the McCain-Feingold campaign finance reform. So McCain-Feingold campaign finance reform sounded great, looked great when it was passed. The consequence of passing it has made things way, way worse in terms